Hey, you guys, it's Amber.
And Heather.
Woo! We're back again for another episode of Tool Talk, and today our focus is going to be on metabolism. Woo! So, last episode we talked about how exercise doesn't make you skinny, and I got a little bit up on my soapbox.
She did.
Look out. But I did want to talk a little bit deeper in depth about metabolism so that you can understand that a little bit better. So we know that, you've probably heard that term often, metabolism. What do you think when you hear that? What is your metabolism?
Right?
Heather?
I think so. It's funny because I hear people all the time talk about, especially when they're young, I have such high metabolism. I can eat whatever I want, whenever I want, and I'm never going to gain weight. Or I'll hear them talk, or you'll see somebody that's skinny and they'll be like, oh, she must have a high metabolism rate because she's just burning through that food and stuff. So yeah, that's typically people think that if you have a high metabolism rate, then you're skinny. And if you don't, then you're not.
Right.
Yep.
And then the other thing is people think when they age that their metabolism slows down.
Yes.
But there was a recent study published that proved that that's not true.
Another lie.
Yes. Another lie, right?
Full of them.
That we've been believing all this time. So when you look at your metabolism, one of the things I have people learn about is the basal metabolic rate. BMR, that's right. You may see that. And your basal metabolic rate is basically the amount of calories that you burn if you did nothing all day. So your body actually burns calories all day and all night just to keep you alive. So if I put you on a table that was heated to 98.6 degrees, which is our body temperature, what our body temperature should be for normal. And so you were on that table, you just laid there all day, did nothing for 24 hours. So your body stayed at its same body temperature and everything. You would burn a number of calories. That's your basal metabolic rate. So your heart has to beat, your lungs have to inflate and breathe, and the oxygen has to be passed through your body, and your blood's pumping and your brain is working. And so these things require calories.
Yes.
They require energy, and calories are energy. So what happens when you diet? And let's just say dieting in general. I'm not going to say you're doing an extreme diet or anything like that. I'm just saying that you're dieting and you are starting to lose weight. First off, I want you to understand something. Weight loss can come from 3 different places. You can lose weight from water weight, you can lose weight from body fat, and you can lose weight from muscle mass.
And guess which one typically comes first that people get super excited about?
Yes,
water weight.
And here's a little note for my people. I want y'all to understand something. That is one of the main reasons why fad diets typically have you cut out carbohydrates.
Yes.
Because when we eat carbohydrates, our body actually pulls in extra water to break down the carbohydrates to be used in our body through, so it breaks it down through glycolysis. And then, it gets broken down, your body sloughs that extra water out, whatever. So if I have you cut out carbohydrates,
right. Boom.
There
you go, 15 pounds.
Yes, there you go.
Just like a big breath in, it's gone.
It's gone. And so that's why when you do something, a lot of times you lose a lot of weight right in the beginning. If you're losing 5 or more pounds, like in just a couple of days' time, that's just water weight.
Yes.
It's not body fat.
People get so excited, though.
They do. Because the number on the scale
I do too,
changed,
right?
Right?
Who doesn't? Yes.
So that's just a little note for you. That's why that happens. So when we are looking at losing weight, if that is your interest, it's not everybody's, but if it is, you want that body weight to come down from fat.
Yes,
we don't
want the fat gone.
Yes, we don't want to lose the muscle mass, and we don't want to. Who cares about the water?
Yes.
That's the other thing. So with your basal metabolic rate, you have a number that it has. When you diet, if you go on an extreme diet or you diet for a long time period, it is going to slow your basal metabolic rate down. It's going to drop that basal metabolic rate. Now, let me throw some numbers at you, and I just want you to visualize this, think about this for a minute. Let's say without doing anything, your body burns 1,300 calories. And you're on a diet and you're dieting and you're going along, like 3 months down the road, your body now has said, oh dear, we're not getting quite enough energy in. We better slow everything down. So your basal metabolic rate drops down to 1,100. So you were at 1,300, now you're at 1,100. Now I want you to think about this. Mm-hmm. You've already reduced your calories.
Yes.
All right. Now your body has slowed down and you need less calories. Now what happens? In your mind, you've plateaued, or you might start to see an uptick in your weight. So what do most people do?
I got to drop more calories.
Yep. They drop their calories, which is typically already too low.
Right.
And or they do more.
Yes.
What do? Cardio. We're going to do cardio. Run. We're just going to run. We're going to
get on that elliptical.
That's
and we're
right.
going to ellipticize. And we're going to row on the row machine. And we're going to get out of breath and be skinny in 5 seconds.
And I was working out for an hour and now I'm going to do 2.
Yes.
Okay. Guess what you're doing to your body when you do that?
It makes it mad.
It makes it very mad and stressed. And when our bodies are stressed, they are not going to function like normal.
They're not going to function.
No. So this is what happens. And now you are stuck in this hamster wheel and your basal metabolic rate has lowered and you are making it worse.
Much worse.
So
because your body needs to fuel and it's going to get it from somewhere.
Yes. And
you're
guess
not
what?
feeding it. It's going to feed on itself.
Yes. And that's when you're going to start to tap into a lot more of that muscle mass.
Yes.
And as you lose muscle mass, you are losing even more calorie burn.
Right.
Because our muscle mass is more metabolically active than our fat mass. Mm-hmm. Okay. So do you see how all of these things are negative? It's all working against your body. So the thing that we have to be cautious of is making sure that we're not hammering our body into that space where the basal metabolic rate is dropping. And if you do have to do a diet, or let's say a healthy eating plan, yes, where you're reducing your calories at a proper amount, this is why you can't stay there for months on end. You do it for a short time period, and then you've got to come out of that and let your body relax yes, and adjust, and your hormones to stay normal. So there is a trick to that. Yes, there are going to be some of you who are interested in losing body fat. You want to bring that body fat down, but there's techniques to do it safely. And not only that, but then this lasts for the long term.
Yep.
I want you to think for a minute, if you're listening and you are thinking, okay, this is starting to make sense to me. Now I know what has happened. Think about your diet history. What have you been doing? How many times have you lost that weight and put it back on? And this leads me to one more lesson for you. When you lose weight doing a diet, you lose body fat, but you also lose muscle mass. When you put that weight back on, that is fat that you've put back on.
All fat.
All fat.
All
You're not
fat.
putting back on the muscle mass.
No.
Because it's very difficult to put on muscle mass. But also if you're not doing the right things, which is feeding yourself well and enough calories to build muscle and also doing strength training exercises, you're not putting muscle mass on.
No.
So the problem is it's a vicious cycle. You weigh a certain amount. You drop down. Let's play with numbers. Let's say you weigh 250 and you drop down to 200 pounds. You lost 50, but then you gain back and you're 260 now. You're fatter than you were when you started, not just because you've gone up 10 pounds, but because you've lost muscle mass.
You've lost muscle.
Yeah, so you have more body fat. Then you do another diet. You get down to 180. but then you put all that weight back on, and let's say you go back up to 250. So you're not at the 260, but you still have more body fat than you did when you started. Every single cycle you've done, you're losing muscle mass. So stop the cycle.
And it's harder to build muscle mass each time that you add more fat.
Yes.
So trying to lose the fat weight and trying to build muscle mass that you lost, you're just constantly trying to do the same things over and over and over again.
Yeah. And what is the definition of insanity?
Insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results.
Yes. And so isn't it time for a change?
Isn't it time for a change,
y'all? Are we starting to get into your psyche and help you?
Speaking to the magic between the ears.
Yes. Do you hear it? We want you to live a healthy, wonderful life, and we want you to understand these things. I have nothing to sell you besides my knowledge, okay?
Right. We're not here to push anything other than the fact that we're just trying to spread some truth out there. That's our goal here. The Tool Talk is to spread truth and to squash the lies that people are so consumed in believing about themselves and how to be healthy.
Yep. If I can do anything with my life, I hope it is to help as many people as possible understand the truth about health and fitness and nutrition and not be sucked into the lies, because there's a lot of people out there that are just selling you what you want to hear.
Right. And that's what sells.
Yep.
The truth typically, because it's, it's not easy and it's not as fancy.
No.
Or as pretty or sparkly
nope.
as those, it's just the same, it's just doing what's right.
Yes. And listening to the people who have your best interests.
That's right. That would be us, in case you didn't get that one.
Yes, hopefully so. So if you would like to check out the information on your basal metabolic rate, first off, let me tell you this. Remember that these are just equations to help you kind of give you an idea of where you might be. There are places that you can go to get your basal metabolic rate actually tested. You would have to find someone who actually does that type of testing.
Yes.
But you can go online to just start getting an idea of where you might be at BMR. That's B as in basal, M as in metabolic, R as in rate, calculator.org. So you can fill in your information there, and they use that website uses two different equations, and you'll get two different numbers, and I want you to look at those as a range, and it also will factor in to account your activity level. So that kind of gives you an idea, because remember, it's not just your body staying alive, but you also move, you walk to the car, you do things when you exercise, like all of that burns calories as well. So does your what's called NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis. And also when we digest food, our body also burns calories. So you're burning a lot more than just your basal metabolic rate each day. But that can give you an idea and kind of help you out to look at where you potentially might be. So if you have any questions, you can always reach out. We so appreciate you listening to us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, tell your friends about us, because we're great.
We are fantastical. Until next time, people.
Yes. And you know what? You're fantastical too.
You are.
Have a great day.
Bye.